episode 329, UFO Buster Radio News, and I'm live on Spreaker right now. It's a little late. This is a lot later than I'm usually on the podcast, for a few reasons, namely two. Now, the first reason, let me just play for you the reason behind this late episode. So, hold on a sec.
Hey Manny, it's Mr. X again. Wanted to let you know I enjoyed your recent podcast, the one where you go over the scientific theories and how it's killing extraterrestrials. Very interesting podcast. I also want to let you know I'm interested in doing an interview with you, talk a little bit more about my experiences. I'll reach out to you and let you know we can set up some type of interview. Forward to talk to you later. Bye.
The funny thing is that this particular news situation we got going on here at UFO Buster Radio was actually a voicemail left on the 972-290-1329 number, and it actually crashed twice before I can actually transfer this into an MP3 file, which I can actually use on the so-called virtual dashboard here. It doesn't use anything but MP3s, and the files themselves are not recorded in MP3 when they're left as voicemail, so I have to convert them over, and literally twice the system crashed altogether, and I actually got this message yesterday, but it took a whole damn day in order to get things to the point where I can get it to work to play it on the podcast. But there you go. Mr. X decided he's going to be interviewed on UFO Buster Radio. It's going to be fascinating to hear what he's got to say. But Mr. X, if you're listening, you kind of neglected to leave your contact information. Very importante, as they say. So please send us your contact information, and we can work out an interview situation for you. It is, of course, the quickest way to do it is UFOBusterRadio@gmail.com, Manny at UFOBusterRadio, or you can also just call the 972-290-1329 number and leave your contact info. I would be more than happy to set that up for you. I'm sure that the folks that were in the live chat at the time that we got the first message from you, there should be a cross-section of what most listeners are feeling or kind of reacted to. So yeah, I'm sure that there's a bunch of people out there who want to listen to a full interview about what you had to say, your experiences, and how does that play out for us, the listening audience. What is the message? What is it that we need to communicate from your encounters, aka probings? So that's one of the reasons why I'm on late right now. The other reason is it just took forever to get this podcast together. We have dueling articles at the moment for articles 1 and 2 on the podcast. But I also want to remind you guys, listen, the tinfoil hat contest is not going to build itself. It's not going to be, nothing. If you got an idea, if you're looking at a tinfoil hat situation, submit it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of put that out there for you guys. A few thousand people are going to see it, but so fucking what? It is your creativity, it is your ability to translate what a tinfoil hat means to you that's ultimately going to be the game changer for the contest. So, tinfoil hat contest number 2 going on right now. The winners will be announced on the podcast, on the social media networks. However, you must be in it to win it, as they say in New York, in the North, as far as the lottery. There is a $25 gift card from Amazon up for grabs. And at this point, what fucking country is not able to order from Amazon? Come on. And if you're in another country where you can't use Amazon, let me know. But if you win, there are 2 things you must do. Actually, either. send an address or send your email. E-cards work fantastically with email-only situations, and addresses for those of you who kind of shun from having your information online at outlets like, that one place we just mentioned, Amazon. So, listen, just go ahead and do it. I feel like Bugs, the UFO hunter, is about to submit his own tinfoil hat. Of course, he's disqualified because he is a superhero and anti-alien, anti-rubber dicker type of person, individual, dog, pet, mascot. So he's not going to participate in it for the money, but he will drop a nice tinfoil hat to give some people the courage to, get out of your comfort zone. We're not going to make fun of you, at least not on the air. So just go ahead and join the contest. This is a fun thing. I mean, no one's going to sit around thinking about you as being one of those tinfoil hat madmen or woman. We're not going to think you're crazy because we're all here, and that's tinfoil hats is part of the distraction, I guess, the misinformation of ufology. So there you go. Just go ahead and do it. And actually, there was an article not too long ago that talked about how tinfoil hats actually do increase messages from governments into your cranium by a significant amount not previously identified before. And at the bottom of it all is the idea from, at least my perspective is, who gives a fuck? I mean, who really cares? I mean, commercials control us, government controls you, your parents control you, your finances control you. So what's one more level? Come on, get over yourself. We got 2 articles coming up. Like I said, they're dueling articles. You want to pause this now and go back, knock yourself out. It involved an Air Force Sergeant Jonathan P. Lovett, who was assisting Major William Cunningham over in the White Sands missile testing area, looking for a bunch of debris to clear out, yada, yada, yada. Somebody's got to do that dirty work, right? The issue there is that the Sarge, Lovett, as I discussed in the last episode, ended up with no anus, missing testes, and all around just carved up, right? Carved up like the stories we see related to mutilations in cattle. But in 1956, it was a military personnel that ended up in that situation. Apparently, he was screaming at one time. He was at the bottom of a dune or whatever, and the major decided to go check it out because he thought maybe old Sarge got bitten by a snake and he was being a little bee about it. Turns out that when he got over the hump of the dune, the top of it, and he looked down, what he saw was a alien that had some kind of a reptilian tentacle wrapped around the leg of the Sarge and was dragging him to his ship, or her ship, or its ship. And then the poor guy was missing for 3 days. He showed up with no anus or testicles and a few other body parts missing, surgically removed. Here's my thing. 1956, publicly the government was saying there's no such thing as aliens. You guys are fucked up. You saw Project Mogul. You saw weather balloons. You saw everything except for the fact that you were thinking you thought you saw. So, in this case, with that being the situation, during the time of Project Grudge, wouldn't it be safe to assume that Major William Cunningham should have come up on charges of anywhere from 1st to 2nd degree murder? He was the last person to see the Sarge alive. They were assigned together to go out and do the dirty deed at White Sands. So why would he not be brought on charges? That's my question. I haven't looked into it, but I'm telling you, it just popped into my head about 2 hours ago. That there seems to be a gap here. Because if you're a government, the ones that employ you do not believe in UFOs, abductions, and all these other things, then how can 2 military personnel go out and leisurely walk looking for debris from missile testing one of them come back missing all the important organs from their body. And the other guy is like, hey, yeah, he disappeared. Got taken by an alien. Wouldn't you think as a government, this would be a perfect example to show that there is no favoritism? You really don't give two fucks about it, but one of your personnels disappeared and came back with all the goods missing. And the last person to see them really shouldn't get off easy, now should they? That's just what I'm thinking about. Listen, I'm going to look into this whole situation between Lovett and Cunningham in the next few weeks, because I really think that there should have been something dramatic, something horrifically crazy done to Cunningham, Major Cunningham, if indeed the government at that time wholeheartedly did not believe in UFOs, reptilians, or what have you. Because otherwise, something's amiss here. There's no reason why Major William Cunningham should have gone free after they found the Sarge without no nuggets or a place where they can relieve themselves. Really, A and B totally gone. And the last person to be with them, or that individual, was Major William Cunningham. I'd put him in jail, to be honest, especially if I didn't believe in UFOs. I would arrest his ass so quickly it would turn the tide in the belief of UFOs and everything that goes bump in the night. That's the way I see it. Like I said, I'm going to look into this a little more because it's a little weird that that's the way it ended. And we really have no indication as to whether or not something happened to the Major. We know what happened to the Sarge. He is not, or he was not in a good place. But, everybody needs an anus. So that was cruel and unusual punishment.
I won't make it easy for you now. You got 2 minutes of my time. And I don't really break too easily, but I'm worth it, 'cause I'll slip into your dreams tonight. Oh, so give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind. Oh, so give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind.
Just watch me.
I got you wrapped around my finger, but don't you try to call me tomorrow. There's nothing personal in having a little fun. You wait and see if it's worth your while. Oh, so give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind.
Just watch me.
Give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind.
Just watch me. Just watch me. Just watch me.
Here we go. Get ready. Dueling articles coming up right now. The first article is a little crazy, right? It says top researchers claim U.S. military is covering up their own super advanced aircraft by making people believe it is a UFO. Now, you guys who have sat around and followed the Nimitz incident, seen all the interviews, seen what people have got to say, they were directly in contact with the flotilla at the time, with the Nimitz, the F-18 Super Hornets, Commander Fravor, and the list goes on, and it gets longer and longer by every passing couple of months. Somebody else comes out of the woodwork and says something else. Yes, unfortunately for this article, someone else came out of the woodwork that doesn't have one fucking iota of experience in what happened at the Nimitz. Third party altogether. Yeah. It turns out that the article is really good diving into the fact of what happened those fateful days, and the fact that Commander Fravor and some of his cohorts at the time, flying the F-18 Hornets, were sent out to investigate some strange-ass shit, which today, lovingly, in UFO circles, we call those the Nimitz incidents. We call it the Tic Tac UFO, and it did some crazy-ass shit. In the words of Petty Officer Third Class Gary Voorhis, and he's not the guy in the forest killing people left and right. There's a quote in here that says this. Petty Officer Gary said, sometimes they'd be at altitude of 80,000 or 60,000 feet. Other times they'd be around 30,000 feet, going like 100 knots. Yeah. He says their radar cross-section didn't match any known aircraft. They were 100% red, no squawk, no identification, friend or foe, or as they like to call it, IFF. However, there are many people, and you know what? I'll be honest and truthful. There are many things in not just the articles that came out of To the Stars Academy and anybody else, Elizondo, that was involved in the release of this information. Not their information specifically, but there was conversation between Joe Rogan and Commander Fravor that kind of set off the switch in my head that something was not right in the way the story was being told. There was an element to what a few things of what Commander Fravor said to Joe Rogan in that interview that kind of spoke to the fact that this wasn't a real life situation, and it seems like they planned from a military standpoint to ensure that the F-18 Hornets were involved in some kind of training exercise and would not be armed. In addition to that, the fact that this particular Tic Tac UFO disappeared from the initial engagement with the F-18 Hornets and Commander Fravor, later on to appear at the following cap point or the rendezvous point for the F-18 Hornets. How would a Tic Tac from 4.2 far, taking dives into the water for whatever fucking reason it is, how would it know what the cap point was for the F-18 Hornets? You can't write this stuff. Ever since I heard that particular interview, I've had that question in my mind. Because it really, if that's the case, did they really know what the cap point was? Is this some kind of a wartime theatric? But if it did, and it turns out that it was not alien, then we've been duped by the government. We've been duped completely to believe that possibly, because they accepted the fact that this was an unidentified flying object that they had on video, but they didn't do shit about it, did they? That's another thing that's fascinating. your government says, we have these Tic Tac UFOs flying around doing whatever the fuck they want, making our F-18 Hornets look like they should be in Toy Story, the film. But we're not going to do shit about it. That's the way it fucking is. Accept it. We're going to move on now. Get through our holidays and get back to work later on. And we'll try to impeach Trump at that point, because it's a bit more important than the fact that we admitted to the fact that there's unidentified aerial phenomena that's doing whatever the fuck it wants over our sovereign skies. And it just doesn't have to be the U.S. This could happen in Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, Iran, Iraq, India. I went through the eyes there because it kind of made it easier. The UK, Ireland. It seems like everyone needs to be aware of the fact that these things are happening. They are happening all the time. And according to this, there could be a source for this, and it's not a alien from 4.24. Now, let me just remind you that the article said that there were top researchers who are making this claim. Now, first of all, when I tell you who these people are, I'm not really sure they ever made the claim, but I don't watch their channel. It's just not what I do. The folks that are being quoted in this particular article are the brothers from Thirdphaseofmoon. That's right. They have decided to do their own reporting, kind of documentary style type thing, I'm sure. It turns out that Blake Cousins believes that the aircraft seen in the Nimitz tapes is not a UFO from a distant galaxy, no. What he believes is that it is a top-of-the-line, super-secret military aircraft that was pretty much being tested by the government without people having any knowledge of the new craft. So at that point, it becomes a UFO to them as well. Now, you're talking about comparing thousands of people in a metropolitan area versus one individual who was in one of the jets saying, no, that's not what it was supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to go down. And I want to leave. Versus myself, who I'd be there, hey, I'm chilling, yay, woo, what's going on? Yeah. But at the end of the day, the Nimitz incident will not be erased by anyone that actually was a witness to it, or anyone else who tried to get rid of the evidence. But even more so, it will not be erased by folks like Thirdphaseofmoon, the Cousin brothers, because they feel strongly that the fact is that there is more mounting evidence that this was artificially made by the country of origin for those military forces that were sitting around looking at a Tic Tac run circles around their F-15 Super Hornets. And we all have opinions about it, right? But according to the Thirdphaseofmoon guys, it turns out that this particular UFO, the Tic Tac UFO, which has brought the issue of UFOs, unidentified aerial phenomena, and things like that to the forefront, it could be that they were rubber dicking everyone just because it wanted them to contribute more into the stigma of UFOs in order to hide the fact that this may have been a man-made object that was being tested, that our military men and women that were part of that flotilla were all guinea pigs at the time. So, I can't really knock the fact that Thirdphaseofmoon's kiddos, the cousins, actually got into this craziness through that angle. I've had that at the back of my mind for a long time. I just, how do you prove it? Well, the thing is, how do you disprove it, really? How do you disprove it? Now, the next article is on the opposite side of that spectrum. And it is basically about what if it wasn't a test? What if it wasn't some kind of fancy-ass fucking drone from the future, but still made at the country of origin for all the vehicles involved in this situation? It is very strange, but listen, I don't like Third Phase of Moon. They're not up there as far as channels that I hate, like Security Team 10, but they have their moments where it's confusing as hell, and sometimes you wonder if they even planned what the hell they're going to say. We'll be back with the next article just for you.
Oh, here you are, face to face in this trashy bar. Another glass and I am going places. Makes me laugh about the irony of everything. I like the way you're thinking. I don't really care about the music on the dance floor. I don't really mind all the smoke is in the bathroom. I don't care at all, baby. You got my next to when you're next to me.
It's a beautiful song. This is UFO Buster Radio. I am Manny Moonraker, episode number 329, and it's a sad situation in ufology when your podcast host runs out of rum in his cup. It's tragic. It is unacceptable. But we got one more news article to go. Before we get there, I just want to welcome, of course, Dr. G, the Green Man. He is in the house. Of course, we know Dave G is there, and also Zachariah is chilling right now. I'm surprised you guys are on so late. Shit, there's like no end to the fact that you fuckers can't get any sleep. So, okay, kumbaya for y'all. Let's get into the last news article for the moment. So like I said, we have polar opposite articles. The first one was Thirdphaseofmoon. God bless the Cousin Brothers. Again, another channel I don't follow. You know, listen, when I first started, the Cousins were kind of hilarious to me. They were kind of funny. Then we had Security Team 10 and Tyler. Tyler apparently is out getting hookers and got his ass beat up. Then turned around and I guess maybe his girlfriend / wife, fiance, had some objections. He slapped her around and ended up with a few charges on him. But then the Cousins, you know, the Cousins are hit or miss, really. They really are. The article originally stated that they have over 150,000 YouTube subscribers, and I believe it. You know, the thing is that whenever you take these situations and blow them up, you know, like having the MIB come to your door at least twice a year, hint, hint, Tyler Glock nerd, then yeah, people want to tune in. They want to know what the hell's going on because you are a big shot when it comes to this UFO story. I guarantee you, anybody else that listens to, you know, UFO podcasts or has a real experience, and it just takes one fucking time for the MIB to show up at your door for you to shut the fuck up about your incident. You won't say a damn thing because you know, they've got government-issued probes, and they will make you forget a lot of things. And it's not with a noisy cricket. It's not with a neuralizer. They have their ways, I'm sure, and you will forget whatever the fuck you thought you were going to be doing with their government-issued things, plain and simple. The next article is talking about the fact that someone submitted a Freedom of Information Act request. This takes balls. You've got balls there, buddy. Huge balls. I mean, you've got elephantitis of the balls to last you for days. I guarantee you that there are people down there in China who are scared of you because your balls are bigger than most of the people in the country. Yeah, somebody submitted a FOIA request regarding the Nimitz incident. And here I go, and I'm going to say again, polar opposite to what the folks over at Thirdphaseofmoon were saying. This particular article says that someone, a researcher by the name of Christian Lambright, submitted a FOIA request to the Office of Naval Intelligence back in October of 2019, I mean around the fucking corner. Like he was probably digging into some candy, scaring the shit out of the neighborhood kids, typing up a FOIA request. Candy corns out the ass, just going to town. That's probably what motivated him to get down and write down this request regarding the Nimitz incident, regarding the Tic Tac UFOs. So the funny thing is that first of all, there are people who research UFOs who spend months and years getting the big shaft from the government when it comes to FOIA requests. The one thing that I've read on and on, time and time again, is that it depends who your request goes to. So if you go to, if there's some Poindexter with some really thick glasses and really dedicated to his job and the letter of law and whatever letter of law they write for themselves, they will turn back every friggin' fucking request that they could think of and not give you shit. Not a single thing. Nothing to make you at least feel that you were on the right track. You'll sit there like an idiot wondering what the fuck happened. But apparently, Christian Lambright came across the right person. They came across someone who gave two fucks about the topic. And that's really what this response from them kind of says to me. Yeah, it feels like someone got the request and it meant something to them to at least bring Lambright either some additional information that they didn't need to receive or that push to keep looking for more answers. Here is a snippet of what the letter said from the FOIA request. And actually, if you go into the description and click on the article itself has an actual PDF copy of the letter that was sent back to Lambright regarding their request for more information on the Nimitz incident and the Tic Tac UFO. According to the letter, it says this: our review of records and systems reveal that ONI, and that's the Office of Naval Intelligence, has no releasable records related to your request. ONI has searched our records for responsive documents. We have discovered certain briefing slides that are classified top secret. A review of these materials indicates that they are currently and appropriately marked as classified top secret under the Executive Order 13526, and the original classification authority has determined that the release of these materials would cause exceptionally grave damage to the national security of the United States. Specifically, under Section 1.4, the materials would trigger protections under Subcategory C, the intelligence activities of the United States, as well as the sources and methods that are being used to gather information in support of national security of the United States. In addition, the materials would trigger protections under Subcategory E, scientific and technological matters related to national security of the United States, for the reason the materials are exempt from release under subsection B, exception 1. Fucking they confuse the fuck out of people or what? Exception for classified materials, matters of national defense. As a result, these records may not be released and are being withheld. So, it turns out that in the denial, this individual kind of left a bit of a breadcrumb stating, hey, yeah, you ain't getting shit. Not a one fucking thing. But guess what? Somebody has more information related to what you're looking for. So there you go. Slap in the face and a pat on your back all at the same time. Additionally, the letter said this: we have also determined that ONI, again, Office of National Intelligence, possesses a video classified secret that ONI is not the original classification authority for. ONI has forwarded your request to the Naval Air Systems Command to make a determination on releasability. The plot thickens. There is another video which might have been recorded on that fateful day when Lieutenant Commander Fravor was chasing down the Tic Tac, or in those few days that they were so-called, quote-unquote, encounters/training going on. But there's another video out there classified as secret that it wasn't even classified as secret from the the Office of Naval Intelligence. No, they didn't do it. It was Naval Air Systems Command. What is it? What is this tangled web that we weave when it comes to the Nimitz incident? What is really going on? And why is it top secret? Like, basically, you've already had your ass handed to you in the public because thanks to Elizondo, your video became well known in UFO circles. So well known that you decided to step back and reclassify UFOs to UAPs and then give up some new guidelines for the personnel. So that way they won't be afraid of the stigma of the UFO term. But you're holding out on us. Why is it that there are videos that are still considered classified top secret when the secret is out of the bag? Apparently there's something else that we the people are not allowed to see. Maybe it's the truth. Maybe they show a Tic Tac leaving from a United States submarine. Maybe they show a Tic Tac leaving from some kind of a aircraft carrier miles away from the flotilla that the Nimitz was part of. Or maybe they show video of this particular Tic Tac entering from space. Maybe they were tracking it for so long that they actually know the origin of the craft. And it can't be disclosed at the moment. Or it may never be disclosed, to be honest. More and more questions regarding the Nimitz incident and the Tic Tac. The real evidence that's out there. And I wonder if in the next few days, weeks, if Elizondo will come out and let us know whether or not he stole that fucking video too. He might just have it. He's holding on to it. Or if he's actually even seen it. Because it's very possible that he did see the video, because there was mention early on when this video was first released that there were other videos that were out there that he might have seen, but wasn't able to stick it in his drawers as he ran out of the Department of Defense with them. I don't know. It is a crazy story to know this. And you know what? Come on, guys. If you already know the cat's out of the bag, let's see it. Let's see. And I bet you these videos are not grainy. They don't look like some dot, moving around in front of a FLIR camera. They're probably pretty clear. They have some serious information on them. And probably would define for us what the fuck we're looking at, to be honest. They're being kept secret from someone. And that is because the content on it will probably give you some good core explanations, and maybe even explanations that no other country on the planet should know, other than the ones that recorded it. Don't forget to like and share the podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Be sure to join the madness. Get in there. Listen, you guys in the chat box especially who are here live, I know you've gone this weekend and you've purchased a lot more tinfoil to get your head in. And again, for those of you who are afraid to be associated with this particular topic, you don't even have to show your mug on it. Fuck up the life of your pet or an unknown relative, unsuspecting actually. They might, if they're unknown, I guess you wouldn't know them. But unsuspecting relative who has no idea what the hell you're placing on their head. They could be taking a nap. Just throw it on their head, take a picture, and send it in. UFOBusterRadio@gmail.com. Manny at UFOBusterRadio.com. Be part of it. Join the madness, the tinfoil hat craziness. And I think Bugs is going to put in his own entry in the next week or so. Don't be outdone by a dog. Come on. Get those creative juices going. Let's submit it. Let's get it done. $25 gift card waiting for you. And like I said before, if you're in a country that is not allowed to get into Amazon, like China, let me know. We'll figure out something else. Desmond and Mooric, I'm checking out. By the way, don't forget that, especially for Dr. G, Green Man, who came in a little late, Mr. X has decided that he will be interviewed. He unfortunately did not leave us his contact information. So look forward to a interview with Mr. X, hopefully in the next couple of weeks before the end of the month. And also get ready for the Dark Horror podcast. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the paranormal, because I've seen some crazy shit recently. There's got to be a tie to UFOs, but we're going to start kind of slow and build up to it. But time for me to check out, so ciao, y'all.
Evil mind.